Hey, what up, America? Happy Thursday to you. Today is Thursday, February 16th, 2017. I'm Bushan Glover with a Better Black America. Happy Black History Month to you. We're still commemorating Black History Month in the month of February. And today we want to acknowledge the Black Panther Party. Now, the reason we're honoring the Black Panther Party today is because I've heard something on Tuesday, this week, February 14th, on the O'Reilly Factor that was basically very disrespectful, insensitive, and so wrong that I had to go on record to express my opinion and my views to basically set the record straight. Now, Mr. O'Reilly on the O'Reilly Factor on Fox News, you check your local listings for that. He, on his show, compared the Black Panther Party to the KKK. I mean, it's not even comparing apples and oranges. It's kind of like comparing water and oil. The two don't mix. The two are distinctively the same. And to clarify or to put a fact behind what I'm saying, we're going to bring in a third party and let Google have a say in on it. Okay, Google, Black Panthers.
According to Marxist's Internet Archive, in October of 1966, in Oakland, California, Huey Newton and Bobby Seale founded the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. The Panthers practiced militant self-defense of minority communities against the U.S. government and fought to establish revolutionary socialism through mass organizing and community-based programs.
Okay, now, self-defense is what sticks out to me. And what sticks out even more was militant self-defense against the American government. So basically, what Google is saying, that the American government had an offensive covert operation to somehow do away with the black community, more importantly, the black man. Because when you talk about self-defense, there has to be an opposition. There has to be an opposition. So why would a group of people establish themselves from a militant perspective if the threat wasn't either on that level or superseded the level, which forced them to establish a defense mechanism? Because at the time in Oakland and in a large volume of our urban communities, police brutality, and even in the 60s, they were still hanging and lynching down south. So just in all fairness, let's go ahead and see what Google has to say about the KKK. Okay, Google, the Ku Klux Klan.
According to Wikipedia, the Ku Klux Klan, or simply the Klan, is the name of three distinct movements in the United States that have advocated extremist reactionary currents such as white supremacy, white nationalism, anti-immigration, and, especially in later iterations, Nordicism, anti-Catholicism, and anti-Semitism.
Okay, you heard what Google said. So apparently the KKK, white supremacy, is the syrup that goes on a pancake when you talk about eating pancakes, because it's the same. The Ku Klux Klan operation is so connected to white supremacy that we've seen it throughout American history, from the past, present, and even today. Now, we have even notable grand wizards to serve on the United States Senate. Robert Byrd was a grand wizard who was actually Hillary Clinton's mentor. But a lot of people don't know that. And then if you look at Donald Trump's attorney general selection, Jeff Sessions, who was born and raised in Selma, Alabama, and grew up during the Jim Crow era, and now he's the attorney general. And then based on what Google says, anti-everything. And what sticks out to me right now is the anti-immigration. Because when you see these executive actions, and I've been reading them from top to bottom, and a large volume of these executive actions is pretty much anti-immigration, and it's more targeted towards the southern borders, as well as the Muslim ban that actually got shut down by the higher courts, in which they're going to go back in to try to get those vetting practices into law. But the anti-immigration thing right now, the American government is really trying to win the war on drugs, because I've been reading them, and everything that has to do with the immigration laws and public safety when it comes to the executive actions that President Trump is signing has a lot to do with the drug trade, which will affect the black communities in epic proportions, because we still make music and we still make it seem as if we're out there slanging keys and stuff like that. In the music, I know is art imitating life, but then the people who are doing that are still in the dope game going to have some issues and some sanctions coming down the way. So we have to somehow figure out a way to not get caught up in this madness. But this immigration thing is real. Now, only thing that I've read in the executive actions that Trump is putting on record is violent crimes and drugs. That's the only thing that I've seen in regards to American citizens, more importantly, the African American and the black community. Now, but everything else that I've read so far is based on immigration, based on the southern border, based on putting monies to add more border patrol agents, monies to build prisons near the borders. Okay, and then like Google said, the KKK, anti-immigration. So when you say the Black Panthers and the Ku Klux Klan is the same, is impossible, because one was like a JV squad, like Obama said. We pretty much wasn't even JV. It was like a single A ball club versus the major leagues, and you have to put your foot down. And what it did was taught us to stand up. But we do know that we cannot be militant, because the social and community development is still on the table, still on the agenda, because those are the things that we need to put into place if we're going to create a better Black America. Now, when I say a better Black America, means a better America for all, but I'm singling out Black people because if you look at the Constitution, all the laws were written and predicated on white as well as Black of the African descent. But as a plan to create a progressive agenda, it's kind of like when you're second in line and it's your turn and say, okay, stop right now. Now everybody come on in. It's like, okay, we got sucked up in all the problems, and now we have everything everybody's fighting for rights, but the Black man is simply saying, hey, wait a minute, our civil rights leaders did not fight for us to just be inclusive and to be able to sit at the same table or to share the same hotels. We had some things in place that will socially and economically develop our communities, and those are the things that we have to fight for and not get caught up in everybody else fights. Okay, there's no way we can fight for immigrants. It's just not our fight, because the immigrant is not going to fight for police brutality. The immigrant is not going to fight if they just decided to just put martial law in all cities, and any Black man between the ages of this and the ages of that report. They're not going to fight for that, because they're just going to sit back and watch, because they want us out the way too. So don't get caught up in everybody's movements, just like the women's movement, And I have a funny story. Okay. Now, I read the comments, and on YouTube, I got videos going out, and one of the videos, it reached over 1,000, and I was like, okay, here, let me check the comments out. And one particular person, I believe it was a female, she said that you cannot just make it about one color. If you make it about one color, you're missing the point. And I sat back and said, well, that's exactly what they said with this progressive agenda, to water down the voice and to water down the fight and the movement of the Black culture, more importantly, the Black man. Now, based on the Google's KKK's definition that Google has, it says anti-immigrant, anti-Black, anti-anything that's not white. So it was a move by the federal government to somehow put the agenda for the women's live movements and the immigrants movement, the LGBTQ movement, in the same basket with the Black movement. Because last time I checked, there's Black immigrants, there's Black women there's all these pieces that goes into the puzzle that will create a better situation. But for some strange reason, it was all predicated to get the black men out the way, because you could look at mass incarceration, you could look at the gangs and the drug situation, just to basically see a genocidal push to get the dominant and the strong blacks out to basically eat each other, because they love to have a soft, well-spoken African American up front that basically you could talk to them on the phone and not even know that they're black. And then people, I get sanctions all the time when people say, how do you sound white? You could talk to a person and you don't know if they're black or white, because if you talk to me, no matter how proper I try to get, I'm going to slip up somehow and say a word that would resonate in the black community. Do you feel me? Just to make an example. But just like a black man could sound white, you got whites that sound black. Okay, I've seen a white boy a few days ago, and he was like, "Nigga, this your car? This your whip? This tight. This is what I'm talking about." And I'm like, "Dang, nigga, where you from?" He was like, "Oh, I was born so." I said, "Okay, what's your name? They call you White Chocolate." Yep, my G. You know what's up. I said, "Okay." So just like you can sound black, you can sound white, but that's just put a little light, a little humor in it. But with people like Ed O'Reilly go on national shows, and he's claiming to be the #1 show at 6 o'clock on cable news, and to say that the Black Panther Party is the same as the KKK, we have to push back and debunk that, because there's no way. Because when you think of Black Wall Street and the federal government assisted the KKK to ruin one of the America's most prominent black communities at the time, the government ain't never helped us do anything but help destroy us and help us to eat ourselves and to keep us in a crab bucket so we can continue to destroy each other. Okay, so we need reform across the board. Okay, we need tax reform. We need reform school. It's a whole lot of things we need to talk about. So that's why, we are really organizing and coming together, because with the Trump administration controlling the narrative, they're signing executive actions that will affect us. And the media is not showing that, because that's not front page news. So what we're going to do, we're going to continue to work hard and continue to lobby our local legislation to basically put those rules into effect. And one thing we're going for is tax reform, which we're calling America's Raise. We want the body cams to go into law, which will somehow help police brutality. And that's just to name a few, because we're out there fighting for us, because, hey, this is our country. We're Americans. We have nowhere to go. But just to be honest with you, the government right now, they own one. So we're going to continue, and we're going to read and decipher what's important and what's not. But right now, it's a war on the immigrants, and it's a war on drugs. Okay. Now, back in the day, I think it was Nixon who said the war on drugs is the war on black people, meaning throw the drugs in the hood. They're going to clean the hood. And by doing so, they're going to lock the people up that's being a part of it. So we got to get our exit plan and somehow come together, figure this out, because we do not want that to happen. So with that being said, man, happy Thursday to you. Mr. O'Reilly, I love your show. Call me. We could debate this live on air or whatever the case is. We're only, 1 degree of separation based on social media. But, man, there's no way the KKK and the Ku Klux Klan and the Black Panther Party or movement should even be mentioned in the same sentence. One was an opposition, an offensive terror, which is still terrorizing America and the black community and black people today, and police brutality, to name a few. So with that being said, you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time. My name is Bushan Glover, a better Black America.